This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Bob Reese, aka the Cookie Monster, has amassed an insane following online, growing 1.15 million subscribers on YouTube in just 4 months, 4.5 million followers on TikTok, and has managed to make a good living off of making videos like this.
Nah, dude, it's fine. I'm on X Games mode.
However, his approach to making videos hasn't been loved by everyone. Today we'll explore how this once struggling freerunner managed to crack the TikTok, YouTube, Snapchat and Instagram algorithm and become a social media star.
The name's Bond. James Bond.
All the stunts in this video are performed by professionals. Do not attempt them yourself. From a young age, Bob grew up traveling all around the world. His dad being positioned in the Air Force meant that he spent a lot of his childhood growing up in Misawa, Japan, and then in Pearl Harbor in Hawaii, where Bob would spend a lot of his time scootering, skateboarding, and even pogo sticking. But as Bob was growing into a teenager, his dad would retire from the Air Force, and they would wind up living in South Carolina.
I moved in, and the guy across the street did parkour. He was like, "Hey, you want to learn like a backflip?" I was like, "Yes, I want to learn how to backflip." I just hucked backflips all day until I landed one, and then at that point I was hooked. I was like, well, you gotta teach me all the other stuff too. So then I went back and learned all the basic like parkour vaults and everything.
Bob's whole entire life became completely fixated on parkour. It was literally all he could ever think about.
I knew like that's what I really wanted to do. I just had to figure out how to make it work. My dad was always like, go to college, you need a backup plan. Like my dad was like 100% realistic about it.
I've spoke about it a ton, but the career trajectory of a professional freerunner is at very best averagely okay paying, and at worst terribly paying, with a very short shelf life.
It's a struggle, but it's like a beautiful thing. Like I worked so hard back then. Like I was still going to college to try to get a business degree. At the same time, I was also trying to be a professional athlete. And at the same time, I was also spending all of my free time I possibly had making videos, trying to do well on social media.
Back of my knees are really hurting. All right, roll out, ready? Roll. Go.
In 2014, Bob would release his Red Bull Art of Motion submission, in which, if we read the description, it says, "I'm 18 years old and I'm from South Carolina. I've been doing parkour for 3.5 years." Bob's skill level for the time that he had been training was absurd. He had started to pick up sponsorships, the parkour shoe company called Olo, and also American Parkour. They weren't able to like pay him a wage, but they could give him free stuff and send him out to competitions.
Probably like 4 years where I just was like getting a lot of free stuff, but I wasn't making any money. Like a very long time of just getting free stuff.
Pressure was growing on Bob's life. He's getting older. He needs to find a way to make a living off of this or just go and get a normal job. And so Bob needed to think outside of the box.
Ooh. Bob, what are you doing?
I don't know, man.
Before we continue with this video, I want to give a massive thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring. Squarespace is the #1 website building tool. It's so simple and easy to use. Honestly, anyone these days can have themselves a professional looking website. With a super intuitive platform and tons of built-in features like email marketing, e-commerce, appointment scheduling, as well as tons of templates you can choose and tweak them and customize them to fit exactly what it is you do. Yeah, be that whether you sell fairy cakes online or you're trying to teach people how to get one with nature. Squarespace is the perfect website builder to bring your vision to life. Every time in past I've ever needed a website, I've always gone to Squarespace because they're simple, intuitive, and professional. So be sure to check out squarespace.com/Jimmy the Giant, and to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain, use the code Jimmy the Giant. Anyway, back to the video. One day in 2017, his coach and now friend Brett Sims approached him with an idea to make a parkour gym facility.
First one to flip in the gym. Yeah! I always assumed I was gonna be a lot older when I opened a gym, but he's 10 years older, so he was kind of already in that phase. He was like, let's do it, let's make this happen. And at that time I was like 20, 21, something like that. So I was like, well, that's like really early, but yeah, let's start working on it. This was our best idea to try to get the mat in. It took us 3 years to build the gym, and then, 3 years later, now I own a gym, and it's been open for 2 years and doing really well. The name of my gym is Motive School Movement, and it's in Greenville, South Carolina.
And like, this facility was state of the art. It was one of the best in the world, and now it was all Bob's. Anytime, any hour he wanted to, he could go there with a camera and film content and get ridiculously good at parkour. And it was around this time in the late 2010s where Bob made a very important friend.
So I've known Bob since 2015. Definitely when we first met, he was literally addicted to parkour. Not that he's not addicted to it anymore, but like physically needed to be training every single day. Whereas I was much more like, let's just do the stupidest thing I can do in the day. I feel like I joined parkour more for all the fun things that other parkour athletes do in their spare time.
The only thing I was invested in was just parkour. I wanted to compete, I wanted to make good videos. All I wanted to do was hard parkour stuff. And anytime I got injured, it was devastating. Like I couldn't do anything that I enjoyed doing. I was just sad all the time and it sucked. And then Roland started introducing to me all the other fun things we do.
Ooh.
He started to realize that parkour wasn't the be-all and end-all. And in fact, there were plenty of other things that Bob felt fulfillment from.
Yeah!
Because at the end of the day, Bob just loves a good challenge.
I'd say like the way that Roland motivates me more than anything is just to have fun in any scenario that you're in. We would do literally anything we could possibly do on rest days that wasn't like really heavy on our legs, and it made rest days way more fun. That's what I want.
On the 9th of September 2018, Bob's life would take a very unexpected turn when Bob Reese discovered TikTok. Launched in 2016, TikTok was this new emerging app where most people were just lip-syncing to songs and dancing. But Bob's account was very different. He was doing things like using trampolines and swings, and the clips that he was posting were doing reasonably well. But then on the 14th of September 2018, he posts this clip. A video of him sliding and then doing the splits. Now this was interesting because all of the clips prior did okay for views, but this one in particular hit 1.2 million views. And so Bob was scratching his head. What was it about this clip that made it so successful? You see, unknown to Bob, there was starting to emerge a bit of a formula to his videos. And that was unexpected comedy plus parkour equals views. But you see, at this time, TikTok wasn't really considered cool. It was kind of considered this cringy platform. You know, if you contrast what Bob was doing to the very cool gangster aesthetic of Stora, running around rooftops wearing all black. And then there was Bob doing the splits and wearing shorts that say thick. But Bob got curious. He wondered, if these clips are doing so well on TikTok, why not try them on Instagram? And well, some parkour people didn't really like that.
When I first started doing it, I got ridiculed like 100%. Like there were several athletes that like messaged me and were just like, hey man, keep that stuff on TikTok, don't be posting that on Instagram. But I think people who can move on past that and not like feel judged and like actually feel free to like experiment with stuff can potentially go a whole lot farther with it.
Bob was doing well, but he'd yet to truly crack the algorithm. He would do these clips of him like bodyboarding, as well as this sport that Bob and Roland dubs extreme tubing, with some funny comedy clips thrown in as well.
My mom and dad sleep in separate beds.
But then something very interesting happened. Bob would post this one clip. Interestingly, this clip would only get 25,000 views, but it would be in the follow-up video that Bob did where he would unlock something that would completely change the game: the voiceover.
This might seem like a dangerous or stupid stunt. I started on a low rail and purposely practiced falling off.
This simple voiceover turned this clip from 25k views to 700,000 views.
I think he does a really great job about like breaking down what skills he's learning and making it very easily digestible to anyone. Like you don't need to know how to skateboard to understand like that he did a trick where the board rotated this way and it also twisted this way too. He breaks it down really simple so anyone watching it can understand what he's doing.
Twirling it around to get practice and then kicking it and actually jumping onto it to kind of prep for it.
I can still make a video that gets like 1 million views on me just learning the tail whip. So like don't ever think like your skill level or like whatever you're doing, if you're not the best in the world at it, that's not what's gonna make you like be the best social media person. Like what's gonna make you good at social media is being able to produce a video in a way that's entertaining and explains everything that people don't understand to them. And that's like really one of the things that helped grow my account.
His next super viral video would hit 7.7 million views. Now this video didn't have a voiceover.
And then one day, you know, I'm hanging out with my friends like Roland and everyone, and we're doing that as normal, but we also decided to film it. And I was like, oh, it'd be funnier for the video if I'm like screaming while I'm falling. And we post that, and it just blows up, and my account like doubles in size in like, you know, a week.
You don't need to like understand what a move is. You don't need to like enjoy the sport. It's just a guy screaming and falling from a ceiling. Like all of our goofy videos that we've made, like those ones definitely blow up the most.
You know, I take like months to learn a parkour skill, and it gets like, you know, like 10K views, and then I like scream and fall, and it gets like over 1 million views like in a day, and I'm like, okay, so we cracked it. All you gotta do is have fun. You don't actually have to work hard for anything. Oh, dude, it's fine this time.
Oh, man.
I moved the mats. Dude, it actually worked. I'm on X Games.
By June of 2021, Bob hit 1 million followers on TikTok. And it was safe to say it finally clicked for Bob Reese.
A little trouble at the bottom. There's a police at the bottom waiting for our arrest. But you already know we're gonna bomb it together.
We're sending it for sure.
Welcome back to the X Games and the Olympics, or whatever it is. My name's Tony Hawk. I'm your host.
In 2021, Bob's invited to Woodward with a brand new attitude to training. He utilized this opportunity to get very good at rollerblading.
Then after that, I tried to twist 2 opposite directions in a double backflip, followed by a double back with a full twist in between the 2 flips.
And Bob's rollerblading skill got insane very quickly. His TikTok following was skyrocketing. He now sits at 4.5 million just a year later. He'd also started posting those TikToks to Instagram, and now they were doing better and actually getting less hate. And as well, his Snapchat was popping. From all of these apps that offered some payouts to their creators, along with some sponsored posts, he had started to make a reasonable living. But there was one platform that Bob had kind of left behind. And that was Bob's first love, YouTube. You know, YouTube being so different to all of these other apps. The videos are long form, they're shot horizontally, and despite his efforts, Bob was just never able to find success on YouTube. And then YouTube got nervous. After seeing TikTok's user base going stratospheric, YouTube realized that they need to do something about that. And so the geniuses at YouTube came up with a very original plan. YouTube Shorts. On the 1st of August 2021, Bob uploaded one of his TikToks to YouTube.
Usually these ramps are meant for skateboards and other kinds of extreme sports, but today it's raining, so we're using a boogie board.
This single short hit 10 million views. And so Bob very quickly uploads his whole catalog to YouTube. That sweet, sweet algorithm kicks in, and the boy starts rapidly gaining subscribers.
Bob, there you are. Dude, we've been looking for you everywhere, dude.
Dude, Bruce
It's 2 in the morning.
Right now, his YouTube's sitting steadily at 1.15 million subscribers, and it looks like he's gonna keep growing.
Carolina's Bob Reese showed off some of the moves that made him a social media sensation.
I've been on Ninja Warrior 2 different years now. Both years I made it to all 3 rounds. This year was probably my coolest year, because this year in round 1, you have the option to do the regular warp wall, which is 14.5 feet, or the 18-foot wall, which if you get, you only get 1 try, but if you get it, you win 10K.
Yes! And he made the 18-foot wall look like a piece of cake. Oh yeah, you know he's about to blow up on the gram and TikTok.
And the second goal was do a front flip into the jumping spider on the show. And in the final round, I even got to try the front flip into the jumping spider, and then I got in it and just slipped backward out of it, and I didn't get it. But the producers were so hype about it. They went and they dried my clothes, let me try it again so that they could promote it on their show if I got it the second time, and I got it on my second try. Doesn't count for the run, but they were so excited about it that they really like promoted it and everything. I don't think I'm strong enough to win 1 million in Ninja Warrior anyway, so for me it seemed like a way better decision to get like all the publicity, and also like I really just wanted, I cared about the front flip. Like I don't really care about winning Ninja Warrior. Like that's not my thing really, you know? I'm just having fun being on the show.
What Bob has achieved is incredible. He's somehow managed to turn very short form content into a full-time living, paying him good money to just f around with his friends and have fun. And like with the style of content he makes, he has such creative freedom. He literally once ironed a t-shirt to see if that would still get views.
And I got over 100,000 views. Over 100,000 people watched me iron a shirt. And I was like, dang, I figured it out, man.
And being there with Bob at Camp Woodward, it was fascinating to just sit and watch him work. And he just plays around like a big kid. He puts a camera on a tripod, leaves it, forgets about it, unlocks a double front flip on rollerblades.
On my next one, I might get it, and and I was right on this one. I landed my first double front flip on rollerblades, which made me so happy.
And it's amazing. Like, as a long form creator myself, I just can't wrap my head around it. And it really annoys me with some of the hate that Bob gets. People complain that his content is low effort or just stupid. But I really think you gotta be very close-minded to think that. Bob's videos are just enjoyable. They're great to watch. And if you say they're not, I just don't believe you're being honest. But what's more is that the whole story behind how Bob got to this point shows the work ethic and drive that he has. And as well, he invented this formula, a formula that other people emulate, myself included. And that takes a very creative, dare I say it, genius mind to come up with.
Don't go home every day and just watch TV, get on your phone, waste your time. Like, get out there and just like push yourself to learn something new. And if you film that and post it, you might even be able to make a whole business out of it eventually, which is a really cool thing.
And to those cool kids who don't like the way that he portrays parkour, I guarantee you that Bob Reese alone is the reason that thousands and thousands of kids have either picked up a scooter, got into parkour, got on some rollerblades, gone outside and have fun with their friends. Keep it up, Bob. We love you.